In this quick demonstration, I would like to show you how easy it really is to create various visual representations of our work done in Fusion 360. For example, we could do simple screenshots of our design when we switch this to the wireframe mode and then have basically nice outlines. We also can go to the render engine and produce various renderings, and then later we can download these renderings and save them on our computer. So we can then create nice compositions in, for example, Illustrator. Let's take a look at how we can create nice images by simply creating screenshots of our work. And in this environment right now, so this is the design environment, we kind of like have two design tools, kind of. First, actually, never underestimate it. That's our 3D view cube. So we can go from a side view to a top view, a 3D view, and we can switch between orthographic and perspective. The orthographic view is very useful when we just want very cleanly create an image that's seen from the left and to the right. So when I zoom in now, let's say here I focus on this part, I can now make screenshots without zooming in and out. And then basically I have to scale side and front views. Or with to scale, I mean the screenshots capture the object at the same scale. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Now, we would like to show maybe this as a wireframe. Okay, let's do this. We have this wireframe mode, which is a little bit difficult to read. There's just too much. We could turn on hidden edges. Then the hidden edges are kind of like dashed. That's still difficult to read. And we go to simply wireframe with only the visible edges there. That's actually very easy to read. All the depth clutter is gone. And now we can explore and take a look at what view looks really good. This is actually really nice, but don't fall in love with images. We need to make images that fit into our layout and follow a purpose. Actually, in this view, let's see one more time. How does this look? It's actually not too bad. So now this is a little bit easier. And this is too complex. But actually, this doesn't look too bad. We could create a nice screenshot of this just to have somewhere a nice photo. For example, a teaser image or something like this. I am actually shooting for something that is more usable to explain, for example, the whole space, so I can add dimensions to it. Okay, very good. So how do we now capture this? Well, we could make a screenshot, and I'm going to pause here or stop you here because while this is maybe an option, this is only an option when we quickly want to make a test layout. And that's not the way how we produce high quality images. If you take a look at my cursor, you see this states 762 by 753 pixels. So why is that important? Let's actually go over to Illustrator, and I will make a new document, 11 by 8.5, 150 300 dpi's. That is perfect. There we are. And let's say that image I would like to be inside a rectangle that is 4 inches wide and 4 inches high. Very good. So this is something I could kind of like position somewhere. Let's say this is really the amount of or the area on this page I would like that image to occupy. One tip is we always want to render images a tick bigger. So if we have to enlarge them, we can always do this. Don't necessarily want to have a small image to scale it up because then it kind of looks blurry. So we render them rather a little bit bigger because scaling them down always keeps the sharpness. Scaling an image up always adds blurriness. But here now I know 4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, let me go to Photoshop or any image editor. I would like to show you something here too. So I make now an image. inches and 4 inches by 4 inches, and we set 300 dpi. So 300 dpi, that basically means I make an image that can fit into 4 by 4 inches and has really good resolution because I can zoom in more, let's say like a PDF, and it will remain sharp. If I make this 150 dpi's, then this means if I look at this page 100%, it will be sharp. But if I zoom in, then it starts to get blurry. And 72 dpi, that's kind of like the resolution of your screen, already in a PDF or on a website. This, yeah, maybe for the website, but on a PDF already it will be problematic. So I will go 150 dpi. And I know in Illustrator I use 300, but hold on, there's a reason for this. So now if I go to image size and set this to pixels, I can see, interesting, 150 dpi is an image that is 600 by 600. Okay. Now I will make an image again. So 4 inches by 4 inches, 300 dpi. Thank you. And look at that, 1200, 300 dpi. So you see, this is actually much bigger than the original image here, which we made for 150 dpi. Okay. So if I now go to Fusion, and now the thing with doing a screenshot is, well, it is just a screenshot. So let's go to File and Capture Image. But you see here, there's a screenshot. But I can override it. Fortunately, I can just simply type in custom. And now I say 1500 pixels. The resolution here does not necessarily matter because in Photoshop I only needed to know the amount of pixels. That's actually what really counts with images, the amount of pixels. Because in Illustrator you will see we will scale this image down. And very important, turn on transparent background. Very good. Okay, click good, and then we can say save this please to the downloads. Very good. And I call this top view. And there I have it. You see, there's the image with all the stuff inside. Very good. When I go back to here, let's do one more screenshot, capture image. And now, yeah, custom. And this time here, I will say U1500. So it's just the height. You see the width is already really wide. Okay. And I call this top view 2. Then let's go back. There. Now you see it's a little bit bigger too. Very nice. Okay. I could have, because this is really wide, and if I want to crop this already here, I could turn off this aspect ratio and type in 1500. There we are. Top view 3. And let's take a look what we have. There it is, perfectly. So that's all nicely framed. Just be careful. I think when we move this to here, and let's see what happens when we do a screenshot. There, you see, it's actually off center. Okay. So you know that basically if we need more screenshots, all we need to do is just, we can do it this way. We can actually now even zoom in more. So I'm really occupying in this view the whole width. So I could now go ahead and say capture, let's see, current window size. That's good. So it's reset, and I go back to this log aspect ratio. Very good. Height. No, I will set to 1500. So I have this height, the width, the software then adjusts. Very good. And I will call this one front. And then here I click to this, and I do not zoom in and zoom out, but if I want, I can reposition this. And I say capture image. There we are. And side. So there you see now we have these two views. And because I did not zoom in, while even on the image here, they're a little bit at different positions height-wise, the scale is exactly the same. Okay, very good. So with that said, let's actually take a look when we bring this over to render. I zoom out here a little bit. Again, for the rendering, one of the big tools is our 3D view cube, because this basically defines from where are we going to render it. But in the render environment, we also can design, or not necessarily design, but have a minimum amount of influence of the environment. It's very minimalistic what we can do here, but sometimes actually for quick renderings, that's also sufficient. So we can go to scene settings. Let's take a look at what we have there. We have settings here. So we have a brightness. You can make this brighter or darker. That's actually kind of cool, making a black image. Then we have a position. When we click on position and rotate this, you see we are rotating kind of like the shadow. How this works, I will explain in a second. Then we have background color and environment. Oh, what do you have here? Interesting. I just rotate around. Oh, look, we're actually outside. So there you see there's the sun, makes it really bright. And there we see this. So where's actually this environment coming from? Because you probably don't have it. So when we go to environment library, we have here, and I double click all these environments. It's kind of like a studio. This is fine when we want to render an object on a background, but if we would like to have this maybe illuminated like it is, well, outside, we need environment images. Let's go to Google Chrome. Go to polyheaven.com, go to HDRIs, and then here we have various settings. Studio, indoor, skies, outdoor. What do we have under skies? Beautiful skies, as we can see. Oh, this is nice here, this color. And then we can, for example, download it. So this is 17 megabyte, not too big. There. Back to Fusion. So I will go back here to the setting, click on this to turn this off, go to environment library, click on this one, and there it is. Open. Takes a moment. And there we are. So now you see everything is colored by how, well, basically the colors inside this image. Here again, and with this position, I can make this higher or lower, like floating it. Essentially, that should be honestly 0 because that's ground level. And then also here, I can rotate this around. So when I look at this from here, let's say, where would I like shadows to be? That's kind of like nice, the shadows we see on the blinds, for example. Again, here we can set this to solid color so we don't see this. if you want to see this. But the problem you will notice, these images are very blurry, so they're not really that suitable for showing, but they're suitable for illuminating our space. We can Latin ground, whatever. We can show actually the shadow. That's kind of nice. We also have a camera. We can go into various views, like nearly orthographic, super fish eye lens, for example. 9 is kind of good. Exposure, yeah, for brightness, we can set a depth of field. I have an interesting effect here going on right now. Maybe that's because I'm on an M1 Mac. If I turn this off, maybe this is gone. But basically with this focus, you can click on an object and then you set the amount of blurriness. You can experiment with it, but this will slow down your rendering a little bit. So if you don't really need it, maybe don't work with this right now. Okay, very good. Yeah, so then how do we do the renderings? So there are two ways. I can do first an in-canvas test render. There it is. Oh, actually, so in case something like this happened, I have the feeling the ground needs to be rotated. Flatten the ground, rotation, ground scale. Now, where did this actually come from? There we are. Thank you. Now this is better. Good. So when I go back to here and turn this on, there you see now it starts rendering it. Maybe now this is a good moment to show how this blur actually works. So this area actually is supposed to be sharper, and then the back area will be actually much slower, more blurry. And there's a little bit in it. But again, this really can slow things down a little bit. Feel free to experiment. But if you feel this is too slow, just simply turn it off. Then all the images will be depth-wise sharp, but that's also okay. You see, this rendering is a little bit slow. But how do we actually now turn this into a nice final rendering? So I click close and then stop, because this is kind of like rendering continuously to clean up. Let me actually go one time back when I start this. You see here, there's a time and the quality setting. I want to go to final, and you see like it works itself slowly to final. That's how long I have to wait. I can now, let's say, go to this view. And this is pretty nice. I would like this whole piece in. I could also actually, maybe I will make a teaser piece. So this left side I ignore. I only render this area out. Very good. So I'm drawing my attention to here. Then I can go to render. I can specify, for example, web. This is the amount of what I would like to render, pixels. Or I could go to custom and then type this in here again, maybe 1500. I'm not really sure how much this might be to the side, so maybe 1500. Advanced settings. There's something you can set that's for the quality. Final is good. And what you really want to turn on is this transparent background. That's kind of really important. And then you can hit render. But before you hit render, there are actually two settings. We can render this online. You can render multiples. Click render. And wait a second. Okay, there we are. So now this is working. And I will go into 3D, or maybe this view. Yeah, maybe like this. That's kind of nice. Go render. And I do local render. That means basically it's rendered on your computer. So then you see at the lower part here, there is the render gallery. This is the cloud render. This is the local render. That's slightly or slowly working on it. And here I have one rendered image. I can click it, click this. Can make this bigger. And I could properly zoom in or somewhere or just click download. And then you can download that image. The nice thing about the cloud rendering is you can start multiple renderings and it does not slow down your computer. They only allow you to have few renderings running at the same time. Let's say like 10, 11 you can't, but if one then is done and only 9 are still rendering, you get one more slot. And look, here this one is now finished. Now we could just go ahead and download this one. Okay, very good. So when we have these images, like here, so we have these side views, the sketches, and here this is the one image I did, PNG with transparent background, really nice. This is now really good to be put into a layout. So here we are. Let's go to place. And there's the image, place, click, you can zoom out, and there it is. So this image is really big. We could go to image, crop image, and then I crop this one down to what I only need and enter. Very good. Then I could bring this to there, click and hold shift to scale correctly. Bring this down, very nice. The reason why we want to have these backgrounds transparent is because we could go to any website and Sicily is really nice. The food there is good. So let's copy this image. Go back to Illustrator. Paste. There's this image. That's really large. Let's go to layers. There's this piece. I drag this one out and put this under my rendering. And now I can hold shift and scale this, for example. Then maybe let's bring this up. No, okay, who knows? Yeah. And now I would like to crop this image more. So I can go ahead and draw myself somewhere a rectangle, like maybe like this. Perfect. And then here's my rectangle, shift click this image, and then I go object and clipping mask. Now this image is put into this rectangle as a clipping mask. I can drag this on top, and there you have it. So what's really useful about the clipping mask is, here, this is a clipping mask, and I can adjust the size of the clipping mask. So, it clips the image live. Or I can select the image and just move the image up and down inside the clipping mask. And this is, for example, a bad perspective. This kind of works. No, actually, this makes us feel like the floor is not horizontal, but actually going straight up. So the difficulty here is when you want to do this type of a composite, you need to find a perspective that feels correct with our rendering. And then maybe also the lighting. You see, this is actually really yellowish. Okay, so I remembered I saw here on this website somewhere sunrise, sunset, actually in a similar image. Or maybe actually this was this under the night? Let's see. No, was not under the light. Let me go look one more time. Just restart. All sunrise. Why do I not find this right now? Okay, let me go to here because I have this image actually somewhere. There it is, the Solitude Night. You see this light is actually very similar. It is actually somewhere here on this website. So let's go back. Okay, I will go to render settings, environment. I would like to open this. Very nice. And you will see all the colors are very, very different now. So let's go back one time to here. There's this. Okay. Now, what direction do I want to have the shadows coming? This might actually not be bad. Let's go to here and see when I rotate this. It's actually useful to see the environment. So you see like how I'm a little bit matching this. The image is there and the light there. Very good. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Thank you. And then I will do a quick rendering local here. This is actually not too fast. It's also not too slow. So it's actually quite usable. I mean, if these renderings are 1 or 2 minutes, that's okay. It's not too bad. And also you can do these renderings in a lower pixel resolution first before making longer renderings. So you can see if in terms of color or composition, this even really works, or if you thought this is a good idea, but it kind of really doesn't work. So for example, I realized that properly my cropping wasn't perfect. So I will go to this, and then this one is finishing now. It's not too bad. And I start one more rendering. There's the other one. Very nice. Okay. Save. Downloads. Very good. This maybe I will hide now, because I don't know if it actually wasn't bad. And this is too dark. Yep, this is the new one. Also here it helps when we do the cropping first. Now if we take a look at here, we can see, so this actually doesn't work too bad. It can actually be plausible. The perspective I have here with these lines, maybe actually makes this feeling like this is even following along the promenade or so, the street. So we could even really, with a little bit more work, sell this to somebody. This blue outline for this object is a little bit irritating, so I will do here exactly the same trick. I will snap this. This is my outline. Shift control the image. Okay, they're both selected. And then I make a clipping mask. Very good. So, and then maybe some text. Outdoor furniture. There we are. Let's make this white, for example, or well, instead of white, we could also pick a sky color. Right justified. Bold italic, for example. There we are. Very good. Bring this to here. Way too small. Maybe too far apart. Pretty cool and kind of funny what's going on here. So I'm holding the Alt or Option key, and with the left arrow or right arrow, I move the letters closer together. Like there's a huge gap between O and U. And F and U. Yeah, this is better now. Yeah, look at that. Now, that actually doesn't look too bad. This is all just simply done via screenshots, and not screenshots, kind of like quick renderings with an HUI and a transparent background. And talking about the screenshots we did here, let's bring maybe one in. There we are. Pretty cool. So you see how we move them in, and then there when we zoom in, they're actually really nice and sharp. Yeah. Cool. Okay, this basically sums everything up. What I wanted to show, how we can create visual representations of our work in Fusion by using screenshots of the viewport, while we use then simply the visual style to show everything. I could obviously also create screenshots of this being colored. Now it doesn't have to be a wireframe, but when doing this wireframe, it's just so easy to quickly create our technical drawings as screenshots, so we can add then technical dimensions to it, and then also doing renderings via the built-in render engine, adjusting the shadow using a custom environmental image, and then in Illustrator composing this all nicely together. For those who do not have access to or do not want to work with Adobe Illustrator, I'm going to show you how you can do the same layout in Affinity Designer, which is a very cheap program to buy, and if I'm really quite honest, offers a much more modern approach to layouting than the kind of dusty Illustrator. So we will start a new document. 11 by 8.5, 300. Create, same deal. Then I will drag in my rendering. There we are. I can actually crop this image. There we are. Very nice. Good. Bring this to here. Scale this up. Maybe crop this a little bit more. Bring this to there. Scale this up. Not this way. There. Okay, very good. You see here, actually, we have a rectangle that crops actually this image automatically. So actually, you already see in Illustrator, that would be a extra command with making a mask, and here's just a tool. Super good. Then we would like to bring in also our background image. There we are. So I just pasted it in. Bring this in the back. Bring this to there. Very good. Scale this up. Beautiful. Line this up at the bottom. And let's do a crop here too. Maybe we make this a little bit smaller. like this. Who knows? Very good. Also here it did this. Then let's add some text. Click and drag. Outdoor furniture. Select everything, and then we can go to the text. Arial is fine, maybe bold italic. That's not so fine. Let's say Helvetica Neue. We actually have a lot more choice there. And there we are. We can also here again, whoops, adjust all this. Pretty easy, really good. Maybe 4. There. Bring this to there. And this is way too small. So let's make this maybe 24. Beautiful. The color we would like to adjust. There is the color for this. There we are. Maybe this is a tick too close. There. Okay, so pretty much so far, most of the stuff was pretty similar to Illustrator. But this is actually now where the Affinity Designer or the Affinity line goes further. They actually in one application include the tool sets for 2 applications. So we have Designer, which focuses on Illustrator-like work, plus it has a little bit of Photoshop included. And the Photoshop version focuses on Photoshop and has a little bit of Illustrator included. So what this actually means is I can drag in, for example, my grid view here. That's cool. Actually, that's not too bad. And now I will do a nice effect. Give this a color overlay and make this one white. Wow, look at that. Isn't that cool, no? So that's actually pretty nice. Okay, move this around, make this at the bottom, bring this to the back, maybe lower the transparency. Maybe this doesn't really work with the transparency. We had the text. Here, actually, this was not too bad. And no, we do not want this to rotate. The key shortcuts are different. There we are. Very good. And here, we would like to change the cropping actually. Okay, bring this maybe back a little bit. Maybe to there. Yeah. Very good. So that's actually then how easy it is to create a layout in Affinity Designer. We also have the Artboard tool. So here we can create one artboard, aka one page. And then now we just create another page. And we can then specify this page to be exactly the same. One very easy way is, you see, I just lined up the the width and the height. And now I can put onto this page all my stuff. And actually that doesn't look too bad with this image as an overlay. Not too much if we do a count, 1, 2, 3, 4 elements in this image. Not too much, not enough, and actually it looks quite nice. Okay, peace out.